The Tillerson hearing is very important because one of the greatest national security dangers we face at the moment, perhaps the greatest, is Mr. Putin's interest in disrupting the post-Cold War order that was established in Eurasia. As part of this, he has started a war against Georgia, changed the borders there, started a war against Ukraine, changed the borders there. And he's also stated that the principles he's operated under, his right to defend not just ethnic Russians, but Russian speakers where they live, he and other Russian officials say apply elsewhere. So in theory, we could see these same tactics, this irregular warfare that the Kremlin practices, these same tactics we may see in the Baltic states, which are our NATO allies, or in Kazakhstan. Now, Mr. Tillerson has had a lot of experience in Russia as the head of ExxonMobil. And as part of that job, he has reached out to the Kremlin, which is understandable. He has opposed sanctions, which again, if you are sanctions on Russia for its aggression in Ukraine, which is understandable if you are a businessman who has interest in Russia. But these things are not understandable if you're the US Secretary of State. You need to understand that American interests require a strong response to the Kremlin's ongoing aggression in Ukraine and the Kremlin's ambitions beyond Ukraine. For this reason, what I've just said is well understood by a majority in Congress, by a large majority of Republicans in Congress. So I think that Mr. Tillerson's confirmation hearings will be very important. And I believe that he will receive a lot of difficult questions regarding precisely these issues. For example, they'll ask him if he still supports sanctions on Russia for its aggression in Ukraine. If he says he doesn't, not if he still supports, if he supports. If he says he doesn't, I think he'll have a hard time getting confirmed. They'll ask him if he understands that Mr. Putin has these ambitions which cut strongly against American interests to overthrow the order in Europe. And again, if he doesn't express an understanding for this, I think he'll have trouble in his confirmation hearings. He'll be asked what he would do if Russian little green men, the same little green men who stole Crimea from Ukraine, were to appear in the Baltic states. What would he recommend to the president? So I think Mr. Tillerson will face a lot of very pertinent questions regarding his understanding of the Kremlin, and these will be important for his confirmation hearings. I would hope that he has the right answers and that he can become confirmed as Secretary of State. But it's hard to imagine him being confirmed if he demonstrates weakness or naivete regarding Mr. Putin's very dangerous ambitions.